This is KM Wyland, and you are listening to the 495th episode of the Helping Writers Become Authors podcast. Well, I've finally done it. I've finally switched the hosting of this podcast to the off-site hosting platform Libsyn, which I'm actually going to talk about a little in this episode. I had a couple reasons to switch from the hosting of the websites directly on my site, but the main reason that might be of interest to you is that this move should make the podcast more accessible to those of you who use a listening device or app other than iTunes or Apple Podcast. I've been told that the podcast was showing up for some people with Android devices, but I've also been hearing from quite a few people who weren't finding the podcast on their preferred listening platforms. This move should hopefully take care of that problem and make the podcast available wherever you want to listen to it. If you do experience any changes or problems with the switchover, please be sure to let me know. And now, I hope you enjoyed this week's podcast, the professional writing resources I use for all parts of the writing and publishing processes. These days, most authors identify with the title authorpreneur. In order to sell books, we have learned to wear multiple hats. We aren't just writers, we're marketers, bloggers, graphic designers, and more. As such, we are always in search of professional writing resources that can help us make the best use of our time and show off our stories in the best possible light. About a week ago, I answered my own writing question of the day, which I post on Facebook and Twitter, which in turn prompted a request that I discuss some of my experiences with professional writing resources. The question of the day was, have you ever hired a professional to help you with any part of the writing or publishing process? To which I answered, I've hired editors, proofreaders, graphic designers, marketers, you name it. In the earlier years of my career as a full-time writer, I tried just about any service or product that came down the line. On some of my books, I went the full-blown try-everything route. But these days, I've gotten better at knowing what is most useful, time-effective, and cost-effective for me. So I'm going to talk about all of the product production categories that pertain to me, although I've probably forgotten a few. I'll talk about a few of the things I've tried and no longer use for whatever reason, but for the most part I'm going to be sharing only the things I currently use as part of my routines for writing, publishing, and promoting my work and my website. Although I agree it's valuable to see what others are doing, it's also important to keep in mind that there is no one-size-fits-all approach to successful authorpreneurship. One of the reasons I rarely talk about marketing and publishing topics is that I don't feel what works for me is necessarily the approach everyone should use. I also do not consider myself a publishing or marketing expert or guru. Some of the authors whom I follow and am continually learning from on these subjects include Joanna Pinn of The Creative Pin, Dave Chesson of Kindlepreneur, David Gaughran, Penny Sansevieri of Author Marketing Experts, and Rob Iger of Wildfire Marketing. Most of what I'm going to talk about probably originated with them. So, resource category number 1, writing software and tools. My writing process itself doesn't rely on anything too gimmicky or fancy. For outlining, I use plain old recycled notebooks, as well as Perry Elizabeth's wonderful Write Mind Planner, which I did review on my blog when I first started using it. For drafting, I use the writer-specific word processing software Scrivener. For years, I used and loved the free program YWriter, but since diving into Scrivener when writing my Gaslamp Fantasy Wayfarer, I've never looked back. It's an incredible program that offers an amazing capacity for organizing notes, scenes, chapters, and more. If you visit my website at helpingwritersbecomeauthors.com, you can find more about how I've talked about my process for outlining, writing, and editing with Scrivener in the posts, how I use Scrivener to outline my novels, how I use Scrivener to write my first drafts, and how I use Scrivener to edit my novels. I also offer a free Scrivener template, which approximates the one I've created for myself, as well as incorporating information from my approach to outlining story structure and character arcs. You can also access my full outlining process via my Outlining Your Novel workbook software, which is a digital version of my brainstorming guide by the same name. Resource category number 2, editors. I have hired various editors over the years, none of whom are currently taking new clients. These days I don't hire an editor, mostly because my beta readers are so awesome. One of those beta readers, Linda Yezik, is a professional editor in her own right. And you can find more about her services by visiting her website at lindayezik.com. That's Linda, and Yezik is spelled Y-E-Z-A-K. You can also find on my site a group-curated list of editors. And if you visit that, be sure to check the comments as they contain many further suggestions for editors. Resource category number 3, proofreader. My absolute top recommendation for proofreading, aka typo hunting, is to find software that will read your manuscript aloud while you read along. The old Kindle keyboard will read aloud, as will Adobe Reader. I estimate I'm able to catch 95% of typos in my books using this method. If you're wanting to also hire a professional, I've often used the services of word player Steve Matheson's OddSock proofreading and copywriting. Resource category number 4, paperback formatting. Through the years, I've personally formatted most of my books using the typesetting software InDesign. At one point, when I was experiencing severe repetitive stress injuries in my wrists, I used the paperback formatting service from Demonza, which I'll talk about again in a minute in the cover design category. And that was for the publication of Structuring Your Novel. These days, I'm back to formatting most of my books myself. I understand and enjoy typesetting, and I like the extra degree of control it gives me over the product's appearance. Plus, it's cheaper on the whole. However, I recommend authors take on any kind of design work only if they truly understand the principles of the job. If you can't afford a professional service such as Demonza's, you might check out Joel Friedlander's book design templates. These pre-formatted templates can be used in Microsoft Word and well-produced files that can be successfully uploaded to KDP and other publishing nodes. I haven't used the templates personally, but they look great and the idea is clever and helpful. Resource category number 5, ebook formatting. I have hired a couple ebook formatting specialists over the years, including Demonza, and although I was always happy with the end product, what I didn't like was that I wasn't able to revisit the finished files and make changes as necessary. Since I frequently need to tweak something, such as updating links, I need the autonomy of being able to access and change the files at will. And for this, I again use Scrivener to format and convert my books into ebook formats. Scrivener does the job admirably, but it's definitely not the single best ebook design and conversion option. It's also not the easiest conversion system to master, although once you get the presets configured, you shouldn't have to figure it out again. While Scrivener works just fine for publishing to Amazon and most other sales platforms, Smashwords is notoriously more finicky about the files it will accept. So for Smashwords versions of my ebooks, I usually purchase a Fiverr gig. And most recently, I've used one from Kimolisa. Resource category number 6, cover design. So among the many jobs most authors should not do themselves, cover design tops the list. Although there certainly are authors who are also skilled and educated in visual design, most of us are not. I myself know just enough to be dangerous, which I proved with some early book cover designs. These days, I rely on the pros at Demonza to design all my covers. If you're interested, they offer a 5% discount when you order through my affiliate link on my site using the code HWBA5. Resource category number 7, illustrations, infographics, and maps. Whenever I need an image, whether it's an illustration, such as those in my novel Storming, or a map, or an infographic like those you find in the Creating Character Arcs workbook, I turn to Joanna Marie Art. I've dabbled with other creators, most of them via Fiverr, but I like the consistency of Joanna's work. Resource category number 8, website design. Like most blogs these days, mine runs off WordPress. Both Helping Writers Become Authors and my author site kmwyland.com were professionally designed by Varick Design, for whom I can't express enough appreciation as an amazing company. In addition to their great design work, they've also helped me through many a technical question. Resource category number 9, website and domain hosting. I've hosted the sites at a number of places over the years. Due to the current size and volume of traffic, they're now parked with SiteGround. I use StartLogic for domain registration. I don't remember why I started using StartLogic, pricing probably. SiteGround, however, came recommended by Veric Design. Resource category number 10, image sourcing, editing, and design. I source most of the images I use for the blog and social media from Pixabay, which offers free stock photos. On the occasions when I need something I can't find on Pixabay, I purchase photos from iStockPhoto. I do most of the editing myself in Photoshop Elements. Occasionally, if I need something out of the ordinary, I will use the free template service Canva. Resource category number 11, podcast recording, editing, and hosting. I record my podcast using a Blue Yeti mic, which I'm probably going to be updating sometime soon, and the free recording software Audacity. As I mentioned in the intro, I've just recently started hosting it on Libsyn, both to take the stress of traffic off my own site and to distribute the episodes on more platforms. If you're a longtime listener, you may have noticed an improvement in the audio quality within the last few months. This is thanks to Podtone, with whom I consult on how to improve the sound while recording, hence the coming mic upgrade. They then master the finished podcast for professional level sound quality. They're just starting up business, but are currently taking on some testers at reduced rates. They don't yet have a website up and running, but if you're interested in their services, you can email them at info@podtone.com. Be sure to mention my name or Helping Writers Become Authors in the email body. Resource category number 12, social media scheduling. For scheduling routine daily tweets and Facebook posts, I use Hootsuite. Resource category number 13, email campaign manager. My mailing list is hosted by Campaign Monitor. I was fortunate to land with them from the very beginning, and I've never looked back. They offer lots of templates and other easy-to-use tools for managing mailing lists on a professional level. And I use Opt-in Monster for pop-up subscription boxes that offer ebooks as a thank you when people join the mailing list. Resource category number 14, on-site selling platform. So in addition to publishing my books via KDP, Nook Press, Smashwords, and Kobo Writing Life, I also sell my books and software directly off my site. And for this, I use the e-commerce platform Selz, that's S-E-L-Z, which processes all the payments. And finally, resource category number 15, marketing. Marketing is probably the most interesting topic amongst writers looking for resources. Over the years, I've tried this and I've tried that, more things than I can even remember. For the most part, though, I feel my platform has been built on the time and sweat of weekly content creation and social media interaction. I've yet to discover a magic pill. I have also yet to tackle, much less conquer, advertising, although I did watch and appreciate Dave Chesson's free Amazon ads course on kindlepreneur.com. The only marketing service I've returned to repeatedly is Penny Sansevieri's Author Marketing Experts, which I've used primarily for updating keywords on Amazon and promoting freebies or discounts. So there you have it, all the professional writing resources I currently use. With any luck, you'll find something here that you didn't already know about and that will prove helpful for producing and marketing your work. If you're interested in any of the products or links that I've mentioned, be sure to visit the website at helpingwritersbecomeauthors.com, where you'll find the full transcript of the episode and you can find all of the links. If you're hearing this as an older episode, don't forget that there is a search column in the right-hand column, which you can type in the episode name and you will find the post that goes with it. So I'd also hope that you'll stop by and tell me your opinion on this and share with all of us what professional writing resources do you use and recommend. Thank you so much for listening to the Helping Writers Become Authors podcast, and be sure to check back again next week.